For those of you that have followed me for a long time, I told a story about the living legend of Bob Nanni, and that's my best friend that died in a car accident. He died in 2013, and I took that shit fucking hard. I took it hard because I blamed myself. So I had just moved to Michigan. It was the night before my first day as a recruiting supervisor in the Michigan Army National Guard. I just transferred from New York back to Michigan, where I started as a recruiter. And Bob called me up. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and he asked me to come hang out with him at Dooley's in Utica because he had a rough night, some issue with some chick, and he said he really needed to hang out with me. But man, hanging out with Bob Nanni and getting white girl wasted was not a good idea for me because it was my first day as a recruiting supervisor. I had this big conference I had to go to, and I had to meet all the leadership, and I was just like, man, Bob, I don't think it's a good idea I go out with you because, man, when I go out with Bob Nanni, some wild shit happens. And so I didn't go. And so the next day, I got up, I drove 2 hours to this conference that I had to go to. It was my first day on the job. I was excited seeing old friends because I used to be a recruiter for the Michigan National Guard, and I deployed. I got fired from the AGR program, and I had to come back as a recruiter. So it was a big deal for me to go back to Michigan because I was going back to the organization that fired me. Like, I had done so well in New York. I had fucked up my career so much, but I had done so much good in New York that the Michigan National Guard was willing to take me back after they fired me, and that felt good. And that's why I didn't go out that night. I just wanted to keep that positivity going. And I'm at this conference, and I get a phone call from Bob's sister letting me know that Bob was killed in a car accident that night, and I fucking lost it. And I've never been the fucking same, guys. He was my best friend. When I was a recruiter, I volunteered to go to Iraq because I had gotten into a bunch of trouble and I needed a change, and I felt bad because I was recruiting kids to go to war. Some of them had gotten hurt, and I felt bad that I hadn't been. So I volunteered to go to war, and there were these guys in this long-range surveillance unit out of the Selfridge Air National Guard Base, Company F425. They were good friends of mine. A couple of them said, hey, you need to go on this deployment with this medical unit with Bob Nanni. He'll take care of you. So I volunteered to go with this medical unit, and I got introduced to this dude, Bob Nanni, and we just instantly clicked, and we got overseas, and he made sure I knew what to do. He was like a really good friend. And I had a lot of people turn on me in recruiting. I got into a lot of trouble and pretty much got fucking fired. And I needed some friends. And when I was deployed, it felt good. It sucked being overseas, being away from my friends and my family in the United States. It sucked, but it also felt good for once. Like, my first time in the military, I'd been in the military 10 years, and I actually felt that camaraderie. I was around people that were happy to have me around after a really shitty thing. So my deployment wasn't like the worst thing in the world. It wasn't like this horrible deployment. We saw one bad day. It wasn't that bad. But Bob and I, man, we bonded. We hung out every fucking day overseas. And when we came home, he didn't want to go home. It was a second deployment, and he volunteered. He stayed over there. So we came home and went about our lives, and Bob did another year in fucking combat. And he came back from his third deployment, a little broken, his cage a little rattled, but not too bad. And then immediately got himself deployed to Iraq a fourth fucking time. And man, in between these deployments, this dude would live it up. He would party. All that money he would save, he would blow on just fucking food and women and just drugs. And the dude fucking lived it up, man. He lived a fucking life. But I could see that fucking decline, man. And I could see that decline. And I had moved to New York, and I said, hey, man, I know you're not doing too good. He had just got back home from his 4th deployment, and I'm like, hey, why don't you come hang out with me in New York and just come stay with me and my wife? And he came and stayed with me, and man, this dude was not the same fucking person. He was not the same fucking person. He was living like he was deployed. He was living out of a fucking Foot Locker in our nice house. Like, I had, at 29 years old, I had just bought my first home. It was fucking sweet. I was proud of it. And this motherfucker is in this nice ass bedroom living out of a Foot Locker. And I didn't understand it, right? I didn't know what was wrong with him. I didn't know how to help him, but he would just get blackout fucking drunk and just rage the fuck out. And I would get drunk with him sometimes, and we would have fun, and sometimes I would co-sign his bullshit. But I knew he had problems. And I told some people, I was like, hey, man, I think we need to get Bob some help. And everyone's like, nah, he's just who he is. He'll be fine. And so he drank so much, I had to, like, send him back to Michigan. Then he got a chance to go to Afghanistan. And I was really worried about Bob going to Afghanistan because he was really excited about it. But, man, this dude had been deployed 4 times. And, man, that's a lot. I don't care what you do on deployment, whether you're in a combat deployment or a forward operating base deployment, whatever, you serve overseas 4 fucking years is a lot. It's a lot for anyone. And he went back. He went back to Afghanistan. I don't know everything that happened when he was there. I didn't really talk about it much, but man, when he came home, he was fucking completely different again. He was like a different person and just drinking all the time. And he had slowly started to get his life together before he got in his car accident. He slowly started to get his life together. But, like, I mean, when he died, I blame myself. I blame myself when he died because I didn't go hang out with him that night when he asked me to go hang out with him. I didn't hang out with him. I didn't go be there for my friend. And when he was drunk at my house in New York, I don't think I fought as hard for him as I should have fought, right? I was pretty deep in my own bullshit, and I just didn't know how to handle it, but I knew we needed to get him some help, and when he fucking passed away, there were 2 opportunities that I felt that I failed Bob in getting him the help he needed to prevent this. And I just wish, I still, till this day, I try not to blame myself, but I still wish, till this day, I would have just gone across the street to Dooley's, hung out with him, got wasted. I wish I would have missed my first day of work as a recruiting supervisor, and maybe he'd still fucking be here. But I don't know. And I carried that pain for a long fucking time. And it just took me to some dark places where I just longed for that, like, connection with someone again. You know, he was my best fucking friend, and I have a lot of good friends, but I just longed for that connection again with someone, and I just led me to some dark places with booze and pills, and I did a lot of shit I wasn't proud of, and I became a piece of shit.